Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 750 of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Whether this is your first time watching NoDQ&A video or your 750th time, I would like to thank you for watching the videos and showing your support for NoDQ&A video and NoDQ.com. Whether it's spreading the word on social media or bringing signs to Monday Night Raw, I really do appreciate all of the support and the feedback. Got your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift, and since this is the 750th edition, and since there's a lot going on in the world of WWE, this will be a special extended edition of NoDQ&A video. Let's get down to your questions here, but before I do that, real quick, I wanted to thank the fan that brought the NoDQ.com sign to Raw. That was a huge ass sign, and it was up for about the first 40 minutes of Raw. And I just wanted to say thank you to the person, whoever you are, if you're watching this. I really do appreciate the support. And how you managed to not only get the sign into the building, but actually hold it up for over 40 minutes before security finally apparently confiscated it. Hats off for that. I mean, that's pretty incredible. So thanks again. And maybe this will start a trend now. Maybe other fans will bring the NoDQ.com signs to the front row or fifth row, whatever it was. Anyways, let's get down to the questions now. First one today comes from Brandon Snyder. What did you think about The Rock's comeback segment to Monday Night Raw? Please answer in video. I was blown away by that segment. The Rock, he's always impressive, but on this show, he was just at a whole nother level. He really outshined just about everybody on this entire show. The Rock is The Rock. He's an enigma. He is one of a kind. He came out there and he really said what's on his mind. He held nothing back. He went all out for this segment. He threw the PG rule book out the window. It was incredible. And then you had the New Day come out and that great segment got even greater. I don't even know where to begin with that segment. I mean, there were just so many memorable things between The Rock's phrases and interacting with those fans at ringside dressed up as wrestlers. The Hulk Hogan guy, Hulk Hogan getting mentioned on Raw. I'm sure Vince was thrilled about that. And The Rock saying he was going to break the script. That's the thing that's so great about The Rock. He can just go off the script at any time and just do his thing and be entertaining. So one of the best Raw segments in years. Definitely a must-watch segment. Hilarious, very funny. Him and New Day had lots of chemistry. And The Rock's incredible. I mean, the guy really is one of a kind, like I said. So is RVD, but The Rock, you know what I mean. And I got this question here from the anime fans. How come The Rock can get away with saying that the current wrestlers would get fired for? Please answer in video. Yeah, The Rock said a lot of things. He used the word penises. He used the word weed in his promo. If anybody else did that, they would be in a lot of trouble. They would be off of television, but The Rock is The Rock. He is on a whole nother level, and let's face it, he is one of the reasons that WrestleMania is possibly going to break an all-time attendance record and an all-time gate record. The Rock is WWE's biggest drawing card right now for WrestleMania. So The Rock can get away with it because The Rock equals money. The Rock is in a position where he can go out there and say whatever he wants. Now, some would say that's unfair to the other talent, and I would agree to a degree. I feel that the wrestlers should have more creative freedom and not be at the point where they feel like they're walking on eggshells and they're afraid to say something that might offend somebody and they get taken off television as a result and they lose their push. That's not fair, but The Rock, he has earned that right because he has made so much money for the company and he put his time in WWE. And, he is the biggest box office draw in the world. I mean, he was the highest ranking star in 2015. The Rock is big business, so he can get away with it. It's not fair, but at the same time, The Rock's The Rock, like I said. So, I'm just hoping that in the future, other guys will have the freedom to be able to say what they want and not risk being fired. At least give them some creative freedom to the point where they're not feeling like any little thing that they say that offends somebody is going to risk them losing their push or being taken off television. And I got this one here from by DXRB. Congrats on episode 750. What is your opinion on Triple H being champ? I think he is way better than Reigns. Best for business. Please answer in video. Triple H being the WWE Champion makes sense for WrestleMania. As I talked about in my review video of the Royal Rumble, Triple H being the WWE Champion is somewhat of a necessity for WWE right now because of the fact that so many of the top stars are hurt. John Cena's hurt, Seth Rollins is hurt, Randy Orton is hurt. And if these guys were around, I highly doubt we would be seeing Triple H as WWE Champion right now. The fact is, WWE needed a top heel, and Triple H has the star power, and he was going to have a match at WrestleMania anyways. And, WWE is planning to make Roman Reigns versus Triple H the main event at WrestleMania. In my opinion, it really didn't need to be for the WWE title, but they're doing it anyways, and they're making that the main event for WrestleMania, so they wanted to put the title on Triple H, and that's that. Triple H is, after all, part of the family, and he can do what he wants. Alright, this one comes from Tony. Do you see this as a sign Seth Rollins making a return at WrestleMania, or is it Triple H's ego wanting to main event one more time? Please answer in video. Once again, if Seth Rollins was not injured, I doubt Triple H would be the WWE Champion right now. And, I've gotten questions about Seth Rollins possibly coming back in time for WrestleMania. I doubt that. I mean, they've put so much stock and effort into building up Triple H versus Roman Reigns ever since Survivor Series. Actually, before Survivor Series, when Triple H tried to recruit Reigns to join the Authority, WWE has been building up this storyline. It's really the only storyline that they've put this much work into. At this point, Triple H and Roman Reigns, it's going to be the main event at WrestleMania, whether people like it or not, unless WWE has a change of plans at the last minute. But really, that's the match that makes sense. And even if it's predictable, it's still the match that makes sense for WrestleMania to headline the pay-per-view. Alright, this one comes from Heron Drift. Okay, I get that one. I see what you did there. Hey Aaron, where do you rank AJ Styles' debut as the best debuts of all time? Please answer in video. I thought it was a great debut. I mean, it was one of the better WWE debuts in recent history, probably the past decade. Even though I expected AJ Styles to be there, like I mentioned in the review video, I got goosebumps when he came out. I mean, the crowd reaction, I like his theme song, and I got a question about that. I'll get to that in a few minutes. I thought the entrance was really well done, although WWE did kind of screw up the camera angles. They were showing Roman Reigns when AJ walked out and the name appeared on the Titantron, and that's when the crowd popped. WWE actually re-uploaded the video of AJ's entrance with the edited footage showing the Titantron when Phenomenal popped up on the screen. So besides that little technical mistake, it was a tremendous entrance, and I thought it was a great debut for AJ. Alright, this one comes from Stacy Tyler. Bleed the Freak. Hey Aaron, please answer in video. Did you think AJ Styles looked a little overwhelmed with his match on Raw with Jericho? I felt that match, while it was a good match, I did feel that it was a little bit sloppy, and there was one point where AJ almost tripped on the apron. That would have been a disaster. And just a few spots where they just didn't really seem to be in sync with each other. Maybe it's just because they haven't wrestled each other before, and that's the way things go. And some would argue that this is a reason why everyone coming into WWE should go through NXT first, just so they can get used to working in a WWE ring and working WWE style. I'm sure in time, things will pick up with AJ Styles and he'll have some really great matches in WWE. I mean, it is, an adjustment working in a different ring, in a different company. Every company has their own style, how they do things. So it was an adjustment. And when you're working with somebody new that you haven't been in the ring with before, I mean, that's another factor as well. Alright, this one comes from Mark. Hey Aaron, now that Kevin Owens and AJ Styles will likely have a feud, do you see them having a match at Fastlane or waiting until WrestleMania? That is interesting. The fact that Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles happened right away on Raw with no build-up, who knows? I mean, maybe we'll see Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles on Raw or SmackDown. I mean, that is definitely a possibility. Or WWE will wait until the Fastlane pay-per-view or perhaps even WrestleMania. It's still unclear what's going to happen with Kevin Owens. There's a lot of possibilities. He could face AJ. He could face Sami Zayn. Or he could face The Undertaker if WWE builds him up, and he did get the win over Dolph Ziggler on Raw. So if you build up Kevin Owens over the next month, you could definitely put him in there with Undertaker. That's still a possibility. So who knows what's going to happen with Kevin Owens at this point, but definitely I would like to see Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles, and I'm sure sooner than later we will see them cross paths. Alright, this one comes from Nito Light. You mentioned how you're not fond on hip-hop-like songs in WWE and prefer rock. What did you think about AJ's theme? I liked his song. I actually do feel that it fits his character, and I know some people out there would disagree with that and say, you know, white guys shouldn't be having a hip-hop song, but I don't know. For AJ, it just feels right. It feels like the right song for him. I actually like it. I do think it's a good choice for him. Alright, this one comes from Lewis. Do you think Sasha Banks will beat Charlotte at the next pay-per-view or WrestleMania? Sasha Banks, the boss. That is what I predicted a few weeks ago. I figured that since Sasha Banks has been getting all these chants from fans and the fans wanted to see her as the top diva, I figured Sasha Banks versus Charlotte at WrestleMania was a good choice for the Divas match to take place on that show. Now, with that being said, Becky Lynch appears to still be in the mix based off of Raw this week, and I could see there being a triple threat match at WrestleMania or maybe even a triple threat match at Fastlane. Maybe Sasha Banks will win the title and Charlotte will get her rematch at WrestleMania. I could see something like that playing out, but either way, I would go with Sasha Banks being the Divas champion by WrestleMania and winning at WrestleMania, and having her cemented as the top diva in WWE. Alright, this one comes from Mark. Do you see future indie guys keeping their names now that AJ, Aries, and Joe got to keep theirs? I could definitely see that happening, and I'm guessing that in the case of AJ, that was part of his deal, and he was able to negotiate so he could keep the rights to his name and use his name in WWE that he used on the Indies and in TNA. Oops, not supposed to say TNA. They don't exist. The Florida promotion, as WWE would put it. And Austin Aries. I mean, it's definitely a good sign that WWE is allowing these guys to use the names they were using in the Indies and in other promotions. So I like that. And, you know, sometimes it makes sense to change the name. With Dean Ambrose, I think that that's a good name for him, better than Jon Moxley, just my opinion. And obviously, Sami Zayn could not be El Generico. El Generico is a very indie name, and you know, I do not blame WWE for changing the name. So in some cases, it's a good thing to change the name from what the guy was using on the indie scene. Alright, this one comes from Chris Barnett. Why didn't Lesnar get back in the ring and eliminate Bray Wyatt? Him walking off seemed very un-Lesnar to me. Please answer in video. I agree with this, and this was another thing I actually wanted to mention in my review video. I had a few issues with that match, a few logic issues, and that was one of them. To me, Brock Lesnar should have just gone back in the ring and just cleaned house and threw out Bray Wyatt. And to me, that would have made more sense than just having Bray Wyatt stay in the match. And then I believe it was Triple H that eliminated him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in my opinion, it would have made more sense. But there were a lot of issues with that match. Why the Wyatt family members were allowed to eliminate Brock after they had already been eliminated. And yes, several people on Twitter corrected me and saying WWE's been doing this for years. I mean, I'm going back to the 90s when they were enforcing that rule where people that were not in the match could not throw people out legally. And, you know, the whole thing with League of Nations not throwing Roman Reigns back in the ring and having somebody toss him out. There were a few issues with that match, and definitely Brock not taking his anger out on those guys was one of them. Alright, this one comes from Marcus. How do you think that Nikki Bella's impending neck surgery will affect the Divas division? First off, I would like to wish Nikki well with her surgery and her recovery. It sucks whenever somebody has to go through a procedure like this that can jeopardize their career. Now, as far as her being gone, as much as she did improve in 2015, I think the Divas division will be just fine with or without her. There's so many talented Divas right now. You have Sasha Banks, you have Becky, you have Bayley, who will eventually be coming up. You have all these people, all these talented Divas, and they have the chance now to rise up and really showcase their talents on the big stage, and it gives them the opportunity. Nikki Bella had her big moment. She was Divas champion, the longest reigning Divas champion. She had her moment, so if she's retired and she doesn't come back, at least she can say that she had that lengthy reign as Divas champion and had that run, and gain the respect of a lot of fans, by improving in the ring and becoming a better all-around performer. She earned a lot of people's respect, so that's definitely a positive. If she has to retire, at least she got to do that. Alright, this one comes from Ty Marshall. In your opinion, would it be better if Dean Ambrose did turn heel at the Royal Rumble? Part of me really wanted to see that. Yeah, I mentioned that in the review video, that part of me wanted to see Dean Ambrose and Triple H just hug it out at the end, and Triple H eliminating himself and allowing Dean to be the new authority champion. I've been wanting to see Dean turn heel for a long time, and I doubt it's going to happen because he still gets huge reactions from the fans. He's very over as a babyface, but I just feel that there were a lot of opportunities, whether it was Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble. Part of me wishes they just called an audible when they were out there. WWE just relies on the script so much. But when you heard that crowd reaction, even having Ambrose win because the fans were so into him, you could have Triple H win it back the next night on Raw or something. It's just sometimes I think that WWE just needs to make an impulsive decision when they hear the crowd reactions and just go with it instead of just sticking to their script 100% of the time. I'd love to see Dean Ambrose turn heel. I'd be shocked if it happens anytime soon, but WWE is short on heels, and I feel that that would shake things up a little bit if a major babyface character went heel, and that would really give Dean Ambrose the chance to truly go crazy in a whole new Brian Pillman way as a heel. I just think that he would be able to do more with his character as a heel. Alright, this one comes from Jared J. Smith. Hey Aaron, I was wondering, was the Bret Hart and Will Sasso feud from 1999 a shoot or a storyline? It was a storyline. It was a shame though, because I remember WCW really didn't do much to promote that, and that was one of the big problems with WCW. They would get celebrities involved, and they would really downplay it and not make a really big deal out of it like they should have. If it was WWE, they would have been talking about Will Sasso constantly, but WCW, I think, just mentioned it one time and then it was quickly dropped and that was the end of it. But Will Sasso is a huge wrestling fan. He's been a fan for years. That one time he came out on SmackDown and did the Steve Austin impression. So that was an opportunity for him to do something in WCW. The whole thing with Mad TV and Bret Hart. That was entertaining stuff, but nobody remembers it because WCW really didn't make that big of a deal out of it. This one comes from John Jordan. Do you think Dean Ambrose will get a big push in the near future because of the two great matches he had? Please answer in video. Well, he is going to be in the main event at Fastlane in the triple threat match with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I doubt that Dean Ambrose will ever be the top guy in WWE. I think he will always be one of those guys that is towards the top, an upper mid-carder, and maybe a semi-main eventer, an occasional main eventer. It's not like he's ever going to be the top guy. I would be very surprised if he was ever the number one guy in WWE, but time and time again, he puts out great performances. He had a great match at the Royal Rumble, and he continues to be a great persona in WWE. So I'm hopeful that eventually, they will turn him heel, and maybe that'll be the thing that really puts him to the very top in WWE. I mean, who knows? Until he actually turns heel and we see where it can go, it's hard to say what his full potential is in WWE. Alright, this one comes from Gareth Smith. A-Up mate with the rumors of JBL wanting Vince Russo on his Legends show, and if it goes well, could WWE have him on Raw? Please answer in video. Well, let's not put the cart before the horse. I mean, first off, we would have to see Vince Russo on the JBL show, period. And I'd like to see it happen, but I have my doubts that Vince Russo will be on a WWE Network show. You know, that is an interesting scenario. If Russo was to appear on a show, would they allow him to say whatever's on his mind and have a open forum, uncensored? I would be entertained as hell. If Vince Russo was on a WWE show, let it be uncensored. Bring Eric Bischoff on. Bring Jim Cornette on. That would be an all-time classic. If WWE really wanted to do something to draw in all the internet fans, a Russo versus Bischoff or a Russo versus Cornette debate would be amazing. I would be really shocked if that happened. And I would be even more shocked if Vince Russo appeared on WWE television. I mean, stranger things have happened, but that would be at the top of the list of strange things to happen. I would be very, very surprised, highly unlikely in all likelihood, for Vince Russo to appear on WWE television. Alright, that'll wrap it up for episode number 750 of NoDQ&A video. Thanks again for all of your support. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in the world of wrestling and all the latest news and rumors regarding Fastlane. With that being said, I will see you guys next time. Here's to another 250 as we head closer to 1,000 episodes of NoDQ&A video.